So, Mr. Fewell, there's been a lot of discussion lately about the possibility of
Hmm.
riffing teachers at the end of the year. RIF meaning reduction in force,
Correct.
and so this is laying off teachers, potentially coming back if the funding situation changes. But basically, these teachers would be out of a job.
Yep.
Can you kind of speak to the necessity of riffing and what that might look like?
Well, so when I first took over, we had given pretty good pay raises over the last couple of years. So I wanted to look at that and see what those projections were. So we worked with policy analytics to run those cash flow projections for us, gave us a basis. Then we went from there and we broke down on a per building basis. Okay, hey, these are the number of students that we have in this building. So this equates to X number of dollars because every kid has money tied to them. So we broke it down on a building by building basis, and we discovered, hey, we have buildings that were um, overfunded, meaning they did a really good job with staff that they had, and they actually had more dollars coming in than they had dollars going out in terms of staffing expenses. But then we had other buildings that, because of their where their enrollment was and their staffing, the dollars in did not equate to the dollars out, and so they were, in essence, based upon the enrollment and then the dollars that we're getting from enrollment, were spending more on staffing than what we had money coming in on. So that really got us into really analyzing that. And then with the hits of Senate Enrolled Act 1 and just education funding in general, um, we noticed the shortfall in our education fund. And so we worked strategically this past summer when staff members retired or left. We were able to absorb about $500,000 of positions through attrition during that time. That helped. It helped significantly, but it didn't close the gap. When we fast forward this year with that enrollment drop of 162-ish kids, we now know that, hey, we need based upon that enrollment and those dollars in, we have to look at a cut of about $1.3 million of positions. So we're working creatively and looking creatively. We've identified our staff members that are eligible for the Rule of 85, which means they're eligible for retirement. We're looking at an incentive program. If we get enough to do that, that could save the district about $150,000 in year one, about $270,000 in year two, and about $400,000 in year three if we look at that incentive program for our retirees. And we're starting to have those conversations coming up during the latter part of this fall semester. But even with that, no matter what, we have to cut $1.3 million of staffing by the end of the 25-26 school year. We have to reduce our expenditures by $1.3 million in the ed fund. And so that does, like you said, that means staffing reductions. That means teachers, that means paras, administrators, some central office personnel are on that to look at. And those aren't easy conversations to be had. It's not what anybody wants to do. And so like when we talked about reducing those out of district students by 103, that comes with a cost. And that cost is we have to reduce our budget. And really the only way to reduce that budget is looking at staffing. We've already went through our education budget last year to look at all the curricular offerings that we have that are non-staffing related. So those curricular expenditures and all that, where we can reduce that. We had some contracts with some outside vendors that we canceled because I viewed it as, hey, if I have a $50,000 contract with this vendor, that could pay for a couple of paras for us, 2 or 3 paras for us. So we decided we want to put more weight into people rather than outside resources. And so we've tightened the budget everywhere we possibly can. The only other place to tighten the budget at this point in time is with staffing, unfortunately. And that's what we have to take a hard look at this school year and make those decisions prior to May 1st of 2026.